Part 13. For the first few days, we didn't go to a construction site at all. Instead, we worked at a junkyard for construction waste, a vast dumping ground piled high with leftover materials from other jobs. Everything was mixed together, scattered and frozen stiff, some of it sitting there for years. Our job was simple: sort and organize it. When we got tired or hungry, we'd rest under an open-sided shed and burn scrap wood in an old fuel drum for warmth. The scene reminded me of those roasted sweet potato vendors back in China, smoke curling into the winter air. We'd toss in bits of broken wood from the junk pile and eat instant noodles straight from the cups. Cup noodles felt more accurate than instant noodles, since each serving was barely a mouthful. Between the two of us, we could finish 40 cups at lunch. We drank bottled water from a few cases we'd brought with us. Toilets? None. You just picked a spot and turned your back. Life was rough, but we told ourselves we'd eat something better at night. On my very first day, I was told I needed to learn how to operate a forklift. Since most of the local buildings were made of wood, the junkyard was filled mostly with planks and timber scraps of all shapes and sizes. Our main task was to gather and bundle those boards, tie them up with wire, and then I'd use the forklift to stack them into neat piles 3 or 4 men tall. The first time I managed to stack a full pile without tipping it over, I actually thought to myself, maybe I could drive forklifts for the rest of my life. Big Schwen never operated the forklift because it was too small for him. He couldn't fit into the Bobcat's cabin. So he stuck to the heavy lifting while I drove. Together, we'd also collect gravel, scrap metal, and other debris scattered along the road and sort them into piles. It was freezing -10 degrees Celsius, snow falling non-stop, but we still worked barehanded most of the time. He had high blood pressure, I had diabetes, and the two of us, 2 sick men, just kept going, free to pace ourselves because no one was watching. After each finished pile, Shwe would take a photo and send it to the boss as proof we hadn't been slacking off. We made our own fun in those days. Neither of us expected much out of life. As long as there was food to eat and a place to sleep, we were fine. After work, we'd stop by Walmart to buy groceries, meat, bread, vegetables, and save the receipts for reimbursement. In the mornings, Shwa liked his toast popped fresh from the toaster. At night, he'd make lamb dumplings by hand. He could roll the dough and wrap dumplings at the same time, one in each hand. I didn't care what we ate, food was food. We shared a bedroom in the big house. He got the bed, I slept on the carpet with a blanket, because that was the only room with working heat. The rest of the house, including the basement, was dark and cold. Out in the countryside, I was scared there were wolves, deer, wild boars, even bears wandering near the property. I knew I didn't stand a chance against any of them. After about a week, our first day off finally came. We decided to celebrate with a homemade barbecue in the yard. We found an old fuel drum, turned it into a grill, and started a fire. Snow was falling, but the wind was mild, and the flames rose high, painting our faces with warmth. Shui held a metal skewer, roasting meat, and I took a photo of him to mark the occasion. "Who are you sending that to?" I asked. He hesitated, then said softly, "No one. There's no one left who'd want to see it." He told me he hadn't had a real friend in years. Everyone who talked to him treated him like some zoo animal, something to stare at but never understand. He hadn't spoken to his family in ages either. He kept losing his phones, used prepaid Lycomobile numbers that weren't registered to his name, and often ran out of credit. Reconnecting with anyone had just become too much trouble. I told him, "Well, we've got nothing better to do, why not try?" So I took his phone, set up a new WeChat account, and added his mother using the only number he still remembered. Miraculously, it worked. She accepted the request, and they were back in touch after all those years. He never would have done it himself. Like me, he only acted when someone pushed him. Classic procrastinators, the both of us. Later that evening, I kept the fire going alone, roasting more skewers. When one batch was done, I brought it inside, then came back out with more. Snow kept falling. Through the flames, I could see the silhouettes of the trees beyond the fence, dark and still. I wondered what if a wild animal caught the scent of the meat and came closer? If it was a deer, fine. But if it was a wolf or a bear, would I be eaten alive out here? As I stood there lost in thought, I kept chewing, roasting, chewing again, until I was too full to eat another bite. Then I tilted my head back and let the snowflakes melt on my tongue, the cold mixing with the heat of the fire. In that moment, I felt like Lin Chong from the Outlaws of the Marsh, exiled and alone, surviving in the snow outside, the wind and snow temple burning just enough fire to remind myself I was still alive.